Welcome to another in our exciting mine safety video training series. Today's topic is the Dirty Dozen, the top 12 most cited violations in surface mines. Mine managers have stated that anything that can be measured can also be managed. While that statement is unquestionably true, it has not seemed to be the case concerning MSHA citations. Year in and year out, the same standards are cited over and over by MSHA inspectors. The list from one year to the next has little variance among the top 12 violations. Recent changes to the assessment process places a higher penalty on repeat violations and demands greater attention from mine operators to reverse this trend. The Florida Mine Safety Training Program has produced this video to draw attention to what we will call the Dirty Dozen. Let's take a look at these soon-to-be obsolete violations. The number one most written citation at surface mining operations is by far 14107, guarding. The standard states, moving machine parts shall be guarded to protect persons from contacting gears, sprockets, chains, drive, head, tail, and take-up pulleys, flywheel, couplings, shafts, fan blades, and similar moving parts that can cause injury. With the mechanization of mining and the massive conveyor systems employed at most operations, the potential for moving machine parts is massive. Add to that the often confusing nature of what constitutes substantial guarding, and the formula for being number one is complete. Where might mine operators concentrate their efforts to eliminate the dirtiest of the Dirty Dozen? First, attention must be given to construction and maintenance of guards. As far as construction, what suffices as sufficient guarding is open for debate. However, at the end of the day, MSHA will have a great deal of input. Therefore, it may be wise to consult the booklet published by MSHA as a starting point for any construction. Maintenance of guards is a never-ending process due to vibration, abrasion, and just plain wearing out during the mining process. A thorough inspection program should be in place to identify defects promptly. Remember that moving parts that are at least 7 feet away from walking or working surfaces are considered guarded by location. The second most often violated standard is 14100B, which states defects on any equipment, machinery, and tools which affect safety shall be corrected in a timely manner to prevent the creation of a hazard. This standard is written repetitively because of the broad application the wording affords. For example, the standard may be used on a hammer whose handle is splintered, a haul truck with a headlight malfunctioning, and a come-along that has the safety latch damaged. For the most part, this standard is applied to any defect that is not specifically covered in another section of the code. The solution to correcting citations from 14100B lies in proper execution of 14100A. In paragraph A, operators of equipment are instructed to inspect equipment prior to placing the equipment into service on that shift. The standard has also been expanded to include accessories and tools and fixed machinery. If proper inspections are completed and defects identified, corrective action can be initiated. If you are an equipment operator or responsible for inspecting accessories or tools, please take the time to perform a proper examination and record the results so that corrective action can be taken. In order to remove violation number 2 from the Dirty Dozen, reporting and corrective measures must improve. The third member of our Dirty Dozen is from the most cited category, electrical. Standard 12004 states, electrical conductors shall be of sufficient size and current carrying capacity to ensure that a rise in temperature resulting from normal operations will not damage the insulating materials. Electrical conductors exposed to mechanical damage shall be protected. Matching the proper cable for the workload at mining operations has not been the major issue with this standard. The latter section of 12004, damage to the insulation from cuts, crushing, and abuse, is the main problem. In order to eliminate 12004 from our list, we must look in likely places that damage may occur to insulation. If electrical cables are allowed to rest against handrails and similar structures that vibrate continuously, wear will continue over time, thus compromising the insulation. Electrical cables that are located where falling material can impact the cable may be in danger of cuts or crushing damage. Cables installed in areas that have sharp edges are exposed to nicks and cuts. When possible, cables should be installed where contact is minimal or guarded by conduit or other suitable protective devices. If none of these options are available, inspect these areas frequently for damage. Coming in at fourth place in our Dirty Dozen is Standard 14132A, which states, manually operated horns or other audible warning devices provided on self-propelled mobile equipment as a safety feature shall be maintained in a functional condition. Horns and backup alarms are the major emphasis for this particular standard. Most of these violations can be discovered by properly inspecting the equipment during pre-shift examinations. Occasionally, these devices will malfunction during operation, and due to surrounding noise or other factors, may be hard to detect. Teamwork is the solution for this problem. Everyone at the operation should note when backup alarms are not working and communicate the malfunction to the equipment operator so that repairs can be made as soon as possible. Paying attention to detail will eliminate number 4. Coming in at number 5 on our list is another electrical standard 12032, which states, inspection and cover plates on electrical equipment and junction boxes shall be kept in place at all times except during testing. It's hard to believe that this violation is so common among mining operations, given the potential for injury and the high gravity normally associated with this standard. Following electrical repairs, special attention should be given to securing cover plates. Areas that contain vibrating and moving parts should be rechecked often to ensure that they remain tight. Another important practice that may reduce this violation is checking behind the people who perform the electrical work. Number 5 must be eliminated, no excuses. The sixth bad egg in our Dirty Dozen is Standard 14112B, another guarding standard, which states, guards shall be securely in place while machinery is being operated, except when testing or making adjustments which cannot be performed without removal of the guard. To understand the reason behind this violation, we should ask the question, why are the guards not securely in place? If it's because substandard materials were originally used, shame on you. If it's because of poor repair, shame on you. If it's due to lack of inspection, shame on you again. If none of the reasons mentioned above apply to your operation, you probably haven't received a citation. By the way, if you have to remove guards to make adjustments, take extra precautions while performing this job task. Now we begin the second half of our Dirty Dozen. Ring in at number 7 is housekeeping, 20003B, which states, the floor of every workplace shall be maintained in a clean and, so far as possible, dry condition. Where wet processes are used, drainage shall be maintained, and false floors, platforms, mats, or other dry standing places shall be provided where practical. Shop floors, storerooms, warehouses, and similar locations are subject to this violation. Cleanliness is an attitude, one that must be cultivated at a job site. If everyone would clean up after themselves, no one would have to do very much. There is no reason for number 7 to remain in the dirty dozen. Coming in at number 8 on our list of dirty dozen is a clerical issue, 50.30A, which requires completion and submission of MSHA's Form 7000-2. Each operator of a mine in which an individual worked during any day of a calendar quarter shall complete an MSHA Form 7000-2 and submit it to the Denver Safety and Health Technology Center within 15 days after the end of each calendar quarter. In addition, each operator shall retain an operator's copy at the mine office nearest the mine for 5 years after the submission date. The reason this citation makes the top 12 is obvious. Anytime there are deadlines placed on a standard, the table is set. Only one thing can fix this: submit mandatory reports on time. Coming in at number 9 on our list is Safe Access 11001. Safe means of access shall be provided and maintained to all working places. The most obvious violations of this standard would be handrails missing along the elevated walkways, holes present in walkways like we have here, etc. The operator has the responsibility to provide a safe and healthy workplace for all employees. Review your safety process often. For number 10 on our list is Standard 12008, which states, power wires and cables shall be insulated adequately where they pass into or out of electrical compartments. Cables shall enter metal frames of motors, splice boxes, and electrical compartments only through proper fittings. When insulated wires other than cables pass through metal frames, the hole shall be substantially bushed with insulated bushings. Electricity is the energy that powers the mining industry. Of course, that energy is typically transported through insulated cables. The point at which the cable enters motors, boxes, or other compartments can be a high-risk area because the individual leads of the cable are exposed. Bushings are required in these areas to provide insulation that normally would have been supplied by the cable. If individual wires were allowed to continuously contact the sides of metal openings, the result could possibly be disastrous. Number 11 of our dirty dozen is Standard 12018. Principal power switches shall be labeled to show which units they control, unless identification can be made readily by location. This means that the person working on the electrically powered equipment would have the ability to know and thus prevent another person from engaging the power switch. The safe operator labels all switches. Finally, the last of the dirty dozen is 12030. When a potentially dangerous condition is found, it shall be corrected before equipment or wiring is energized. This can be applied to any electrical hazard that is not covered by any other electrical standard cited under this section. You know, there's a lot that we could learn from a lot of miners about violating the MSHA standards, the dirty dozen. Unfortunately, those that have the most to say about it can't tell us. What a day, what a day. Hey, sweetheart, how are you?
home.
Hey, Hannah girl. This is why I work safe every day, to come home to my family. And I hope that's why you do too. Until our next exciting mine safety training video, work safe.
Hey, Daddy, can I have $1?
Written citation. That'll work every damn time. Do I need to get back some? I can. I'll just take 5 for everything. How about that? But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna continue on. This standard is written repetitively, and then you can cut away during that sequence. And I'm gonna take 12 to 11. This standard is written repetitively because of the broad application the wording affords. For example, this standard may be used on a hammer whose handle is splintered, a haul truck whose headlight is malfunctioning, or a set of come-along or a compass chip. I don't like a set of come-along. Take 3. Number 11 of our Dirty Dozen is good old standard 12018. Like that? Okay, I got it. Take 4. Number 11 of our Dirty Dozen is good old Anthony Stack. Yeah. Sorry, I lost that clip. That's gonna bite us in the ass when we get down yonder.